Okay, guys, welcome. I'm going to do a closing market wrap video. Now that we have stock market volatility increasing, I'll probably do 2 videos a day while the market's really while the market's moving. Previously we were in this kind of slow grind higher. I kept talking about the fact that I think we were going to get a sell-off, very, very soon. I kept saying probably next week or, maybe this week, but and the reason why I thought that is we were set up for it. The negative divergences across the market and just in general, we were seeing breakdowns. We already had the breakdown in the 2 strong sectors recently this year, were the financials and the industrials. I'll go through those sectors. We'll look at analysis on that. Those broke down, a couple months ago, and then tech kind of took the lead, but now tech just broke down on Friday. So that's what I was, really looking for. So we'll start out here with the triple Qs. We have some resistance right there at about 354.70. You can see on this hourly chart, we basically hit it and we're selling down into the close, it looks like. So as far as I can tell, more selling coming this week. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe we take a rest day. Pretty big down day today, so it's possible we take a rest day. But I still see more selling coming. So on the daily chart on Qs, I think a minimum down to 342 makes a lot of sense. Possibly a lot lower. All right. So there is the potential for a lot more there. So we'll watch that. But as of right now, I see no indication in the charts that we're not going to continue selling off. Now, again, it's not going to happen all at once. And just when a short trade, you have to realize that as this market starts to sell off, a lot of people who didn't want to short, who thought the market was going to go up forever, and especially on this kind of stuff, when you're grinding higher day in and day out, it kind of brings, it makes you complacent. So by the time the selling shows up, they don't think that's the real deal. So then as the selling increases, then those people start to exit and then they want to short. Right when shorts start to look good is usually about the time you want to be suspicious of them. So that's the thing just to watch for. I still think more selling's coming in the Qs. That's the level, the near-term level I'm looking for. Let's look at the SPY. All right, so here on the SPY, you'll see in the last, really in the last just few days, 2 days to be precise, we just wiped out about 14 or 15 days worth of kind of grinding gains. Wiped out really quickly. And that's what I talked about in the last couple of weeks. I said that, all these gains I think are likely going to be wiped out very quickly in a matter of just a few days. And sure enough, that's what we have. So again, when you see grinding price action higher on low volume with negative divergence below trendline support, all right, here's your trendline support off the March 20th lows, all the setup that you would look for, a downside. And that's why I kept talking about it, that look, I said, look, it's not here today. We don't see the selling, but I think it's going to show up soon. There it is. All right. But now is not the time to necessarily just pile in short. I think we are going lower in SPY, and I can see easily 417. But again, once we get down there, we'll see. It's just the risk reward now to short right here and now isn't very favorable. The downside, maybe you've got another % or so before you get a bounce. There's some good support down there. And then it could reverse and go fill this gap. Although when you look at the hourly, I don't know where that wick came from. That's weird. On the daily, it shows this wick as if we filled the gap, but you can see on the hourly, we actually did not fill the gap. So on the hourly, if we run up and fill the gap, potential, it's a potential 2% to the upside, 1% to the downside. So really not a very favorable risk reward ratio to short here and now. You're better off if you're not short, waiting for potentially a couple things. One, a bounce up into this resistance here, or taking out this support range right down here at 417. So that's it on the SPY. Okay, let's look at the financials. XLF, zooming in here, as far as I can tell, just continuing the downtrend. And I talked about this for a while. But basically, you have the uptrend here on the daily chart. We put in negative divergence as we were grinding higher within this bearish rising wedge. We started building negative divergence, telling you that you were likely going to see a trend reversal. We got the sell signal it really came about here. It wasn't super impulsive, but we gapped down and closed below that trend. So the trend was broken back here on the 8th, June 8th, and that's where I basically pointed that out. And then, we had the first leg down. We sold down. We then flagged out for a little while, and now we're continuing the downtrend. So as far as I can tell, making our way down to, I really think we're heading down to this area right here. I got it circled about 3150 on our way down there. So yeah, it's pretty obvious now that the downtrend is continuing. At least today it looks obvious. So we'll see if that continues, but I anticipate that it will. Looking at the XLI, the industrials, same deal. So you broke trend back here on June 7th. That's when you broke it. The industrials had a leg down, consolidation, and then you break. And that's how it works. The downside usually traps longs. And that's exactly what this move today did. Big gap down. So anybody that bought all through here, this flagging action, they're underwater now with, no hopes of recovery, at least in the near term. So again, gap down, trap in all the long money, and make your next leg lower. As far as I can tell, we're heading down to 97.16 as the kind of the next level of support, and rolling out here, trying to find big, another level of support is all the way down here at 93.80. Looking good, looking like there's continuation to the downside on this one. Energy is one of the big ones, the big casualties today. So XLE actually has a sell signal today, breaking trend. I think there's some more downside here in energy. And I've been looking for that. I've talked about DRIP being a good trade, or at least from my opinion. But here is the daily support range. We closed Friday right at support, but we were at support with big negative divergence. So this was your last divergent high, and it looked to me like we were going to get some downside. Breaking trend today with a gap down, and doesn't look like they're going to be able to recover that. So as far as I can tell, we are now starting a downtrend in energy. Next level of support, I think we're heading right down to 42. Probably some decent support down here at 42. And next level beyond that is about 37.75. But I do anticipate 42. And for where we're at right now, that's a drop of about another 10% or so. So I think that's in the cards. Okay, and I'll follow up on some of these really good short trades that are just working out. Here's SeaWorld. You can see we're down 11% today. Breaking, we filled this gap right here at 43.05. Looking at the hourly, selling down some more, just, pretty much plunging straight down. So, yeah, looks like we're going lower on this one, probably heading straight down to this 36.77. Maybe we'll get there pretty quickly. I'll likely cover that trade, cover the short, which means close out your short position down there. But that's what I see on that one. Obviously, there's the opportunity to go a lot lower, but we'll make sure that we take some profit there. BlackRock today, clear sell signal. You had a sell signal on Friday. I talked about it in my morning video, but just more selling into the close, it looks like. We're closing right around some support. You could maybe make this out as some relative support. I don't think it'll hold for very long. Maybe you get a 1 or 2 day bounce off this, but ultimately, it's very high probability we're going a lot lower. So 790.62 would be the next level of support on that one. Okay, American Eagle, again, another good short that's not too far away from perfect entry. You can see that basically on this uptrend line here on AEO on the daily chart, negative divergence at the high, and we just got the sell signal break a trend right there on Friday. Today they rallied it all the way up to the trend line. If we look at the hourly here, you can see on this hourly they rallied almost all the way up there, and then it just sold off. Pretty impulsive sell off right there with a doji, and then down ever since. So I think that was your little counter trend bounce on the gap down, and likely going to roll over now. So next level support on this one, 30.70. And that should, probably get a little bounce there. Again, if you guys are finding value in this content, leave me a thumbs up. And if you're interested in learning this skill set, how to use the charts and technical analysis to find trades and how to actually profit from the trades, check out my training course, link in the description below. $99 course, 5-6 hours of really good training. Took me years to learn this stuff, and it does work. So that's in the course. Check that out. It's good value. Moving on. This one looks really good. I talked about this in my live stream on Sunday. Again, join those live streams. We go through all kinds of charts. We usually find some good setups. And there it is. There's the setup I talked about on that one. So I said that looked like, if we gap down and just gap and sell down, just ultimately looks like a continuation to the downside. So I don't see any support on this till we run into about 87. So that is another, we'll kind of mark that another 6.5%, 7% to the downside. Again, we got the sell signal back here on June 17th, a very clear sell signal, a little bit of a flag rally, and then a gap down and a continuation. So should be more selling in the near future. We might take a breather for a day or two, but I don't expect too much upside. I think maybe they'll bounce it around, grind it around, but ultimately just continuing down. And then this one looks relatively good as well, JCI. Basically, uptrend line here, negative divergence up near the highs. Basically, you can see the divergent high. There's your sell signal. We did a back test, and we're gapping down and starting to roll over. So those are the best setups of trades, short trades that haven't quite, they haven't already sold off too much. That's really that AEO, JCI, EMR, and BlackRock, BLK. Those four look pretty good, like they're just getting started. And then some of these other short trades that I've pointed out are already well into the short trade, well into the profit. SeaWorld here, here's Charles Schwab. I mean, they're all working out and just continuing to the downside, continuing the downtrend. This is what I've been talking about for weeks, that I don't see any reason why the downtrend's not going to continue. And now it's obvious that we're downtrending. You'll see here, we got a new lower low. So we're moving down. It's obvious now. And as usual, the momentum stocks that a lot of retail traders are plowed into don't want to give up the fight with like Tesla and some of these other ones. But here's the thing. On Tesla, you broke your trendline support. So this is just a rally up. Technically, nothing's changed. They're still going to, it's still sell the rip. So here's your trend line right there to watch. And you can see we broke on Friday, gap down, they rallied it up, but where they, likely where they're going to close is basically either flat or a lower close, a lower low on the close. With more selling likely to come in the near future, tomorrow or maybe the next day. They could rally it up and do a back test. Technically, nothing will change unless they can recover this. A rally and a back test will likely fail. So again, we're just watching that trend line, and as long as it's below there, we should continue to move lower down to the 460 target, 465 target, right in that area. And there's your VIX explosion. Basically, here's UVXY up 27% today. I missed it. I didn't get any volatility on this move. I am short a lot of things. I've got probably 20 or 30 short positions, as well as triple Q index positions. So that's okay. I don't have to take a position in all of it. It's all correlated, but ultimately, there's your move higher in the VIX. So I think we're going higher. I think there's some more volatility spikes going to come. We might get a little pullback tomorrow, or a resting day where the market just takes a breather. To see two big down days in a row is pretty rare. But just watch the upside. If they don't reverse it and buyers step in, and maybe the buyers are muted, then I think it's likely there's more downside coming in the markets and more upside in volatility. The one that I like to trade is this VXX. And I would look for a move. You can see right here, we're basically at that resistance. Let me grab the right tool. We're at the near-term resistance. So again, it would make sense to get a little pullback, consolidate underneath here. But the target I would have on this is about 48.29 for the next level of resistance, and then potentially all the way up here at 64.97. So watch those levels. I think there's a good probability we might even hit that 64.89 one. Okay, that's all I have for the market wrap video. Leave me a thumbs up on your guys' way out, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.